Now we go to the seventh and the last word of Jesus on the cross. The seventh and the last word of Jesus on the cross: Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Luke chapter 23, verse 46. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And having said this, he breathed his last. The Gospel of St. Mark in chapter 15, verse 37 says, with a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. But Mark doesn't report the words for us. Only Luke reports the words for us. When we look at the root meaning of this word, committing my spirit, we get different shades of meaning. And the root meaning helps us to understand these connotations in a larger, broader sense of the word. So to commit one's life, to commit one's spirit into the hands of someone else, is to place something before someone else. Like food is placed on the table for someone else. To set something before someone else. For example, the teacher sets the lesson before the student. Or for example, it is to place down from oneself or for oneself with another. Or perhaps, to use another term, it is a kind of depositing with someone else, keeping with someone else. It is entrusting to someone else, committing to someone's charge. So all these connotations can be used in our understanding of the word, into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your hands I deposit my spirit. Into your hands I entrust my spirit. Into your hands I place my spirit. Into your hands I give up my spirit. So a variety of words can be used in helping us to understand these last words of Jesus. John chapter 19, verse 30 says, and bowing his head, he gave up his spirit. So, two actions reported to us by John. He bowed his head. Second, he gave up his spirit. This bowing of the head could have two meanings for us. One is, it is an act of surrender. Complete surrender now that he is returning back to the Father. It could also signify for us the last act, human act before death. When life is no more, we cannot hold our head straight. It gets bowed down. And then he gave up his spirit. The last breath of Jesus is the first moment of the outpouring of the Spirit. This is something very interesting. In John chapter 1, verse 33, we have the testimony of John the Baptist seeing the Spirit descend upon Jesus. And in John chapter 20, verse 22, we see Jesus breathing on them the Holy Spirit. So, what we have here is, there is a reference to the Spirit, the breathing in of the Spirit, the breathing out of the Spirit. You see? And therefore, in some way, could this also be a moment, Jesus giving up his spirit? Now Jesus also, in a certain way, sharing his spirit with his disciples. Every night before we retire to bed, we normally would say our night prayers. And one of the texts that is commonly used for the night prayer is this text: Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. The question is, do we really mean it? Or is it just a prayer that is repeated by formula? Do I really commit? Do I really surrender? Do I really place? Do I really deposit? Do I really entrust my life and my spirit into the hands of Abba Father? This is something very interesting for me, because when we look at the medical statistical reports of people who die, particularly of heart attacks, one of the things that is observable is many people die in the nighttime, and some of the reports or some of the studies indicate that, the body is at a very low self-defense at that time, and because of some medical reasons, heart attacks, people are likely to get more heart attacks at that moment of time. Now, just think for a moment, if there is a greater possibility of me dying during my sleep in the night, and I'm saying my last prayer, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit, shouldn't this prayer be something said with consciousness? Shouldn't this prayer be said with great devotion, with great trust, that if I really die this night, am I surrendering my life in the hands of Abba Father? Maybe after we read this text once again, it may dawn on us to say this prayer in a more committed and conscious manner. Each day, can I surrender, deposit, and trust my life into the hands of God? When I surrender, deposit, and trust my life into the hands of God, I allow the Father to govern my life according to his will. This is a very interesting thing once again here. When I say I'm placing my life into your hands, I'm also telling you that I'm giving you the authority to allow you to govern my life according to your will. When I refuse to surrender, deposit, and trust my life into your hands, into the hands of Abba Father, I am also refusing the Father permission. And I'm telling him, I don't want you to govern my life, but I will govern my own life according to my own will. So you see the difference. Let's see a few scripture texts here. Mark chapter 14, verse 36. When Jesus will say in the Garden of Gethsemane, it was not my will, but let your will be done. You see, that was the disposition of Jesus all through. Father, let your will be done in my life. And therefore, even on the cross, it was not difficult for Jesus to give up his will into the hands of God, Abba Father. 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your anxieties on him, for he cares about you. See? Sometimes we say God loves us, God cares for us. But when it comes to difficulties and challenges of life, we try to do everything possible to make things possible for ourselves, hardly realizing that he is in charge of every situation of life. Psalm 22, verse 8. He committed his cause to the Lord, And therefore, let the Lord deliver him and rescue him, for he delights in him. So if I, as a kind of a general disposition of my life, I'm a person who commits my life to God every day. I surrender my life to God every day. Should I not wait for him to execute his plans in my life? Or should I keep on nudging God every day that that he should execute my plans for me? Jeremiah 11:20, for to thee I have committed my cause, a very similar statement. And when they had appointed elders for them in every church, with prayer and fasting, they committed them to the Lord. Acts chapter 14:23. Another very interesting way of committing people to the Lord. So when they appointed elders for their churches, they surrendered these elders into the hands of God. I would like to take up a small conclusion meditation at this moment of time. What is Jesus telling us through this last word? I came from the Father, and I am going back to the Father. The Father is the source of life, and now he is going to give me eternal life. Isaiah chapter 49 verse 50. He carved me on the palm of his hands. My place is in the hands of God, Abba, Father. If he carved me on the palm of his hands, then in whose hands is my life? In his hands. And therefore, it is only right that I entrust my life to him totally and completely. During a marriage ceremony, in some of our customs and traditions, the father of the bride tells the in-laws, particularly towards the end of the marriage ceremony, I'm giving you my daughter into your hands. Treat her as your own daughter. Handing over, placing our life into the hands of someone else. I like this particular word very much. The word deposit. Like I deposit money in the bank, I am entrusting my money to the banker, hoping that the banker will use my money wisely and return my money at the appropriate time with interest. In the same way, Jesus perhaps saying, Father, into your hands I deposit my spirit. You are the great banker, and I'm placing my life, I'm depositing my life into your hands, knowing fully well that you have used me effectively and you will continue to use me for the well-being of your kingdom. The words of Charles de Foucauld, a very prominent Christian saint who lived a very, very hidden life, a very simple and humble life. And he had one prayer in his heart. I abandon my will to you, O Lord. That was the prayer of his heart. I abandon my will to you, O Lord. If I can surrender my life into the hands of God while I am alive, I can also surrender my life into his hands at the time of my death. I read that sentence again, brothers and sisters. If I can surrender my life into the hands of God while I am alive, I can also surrender my life into his hands at the time of my death. The challenge for each and every one of us is, at the time of our death, will I be able to surrender my life into his hands? When I surrender, when I deposit my life into the hands of another, I give that other the permission to do whatever he wants to do with me. And here we have the beautiful example of Mary. telling the angel Gabriel, I am the handmaid. I am the humble maid. I am the servant of God, Abba Father. Do whatever you want to do with me. Do whatever you want to do with me. God, I'm surrendering my life totally and completely into your hands. From today, I belong to you and you alone. And therefore, do whatever you want to do with me. Another beautiful example we have in the life of Saint Francis of Assisi. At a time when he was confronted to make a decision, he stood before the bishop. And when his father demanded that he return all the money that he had taken and spent on the poor, Francis strips himself naked of all his clothes and takes the clothes and keeps them at his father's feet and says, this belongs to you. From today onwards, I will not call you as my father, but from today onwards, I will call only God Abba Father as my father. He is my father in heaven. Francis of Assisi, at that very moment, surrendering, depositing, placing, and trusting his life entirely into the hands of Abba Father. My life long, I did not surrender. I did not deposit my life into the hands of Abba Father. And now at the time of my death, suddenly I want the last sacraments. I want prayers. What will the Father say? Now you keep your spirit to yourself. Don't give it to me. You never gave me your spirit all through your life. Why do you want to give me your spirit now that you're dying? There is a kind of hypocrisy, brothers and sisters, in every one of us. And we need to remember that hypocrisy of our life. If all my life I have never cared for God, I've never cared to join the Christian community for the Eucharist, I've never had time for personal prayer, I've never had time for the sacraments. Now, suddenly, at the time of my death, I want all these things to happen to me. Are these magic formulas? I never cared for God all my life. Now I want him to care for me. After the death of a person, we perform all kinds of rituals. Third day Mass, seventh day Mass, 40th day Mass, 1 year anniversary, Masses for the dead, Gregorian Masses. What will all these Masses do to my soul after I am dead? Is there any magic formula in these Masses? If all my life I have never considered God at all, I have never paid any regard for him, will these Masses have any effect on my soul after I have died? There are some Christian denominations that believe that all these Masses, all these prayers after a person has died has got no effect on the soul of that person. What you are is what you live during your lifetime. And you remember the story that Jesus narrated in the gospel. The rich man went to hell, and there he looked up and saw Abraham. And he said, Father Abraham, tell Lazarus to come and dip his finger in the water and at least place one drop of finger on my tongue. And the response he got was, that is not possible. At least, Father Abraham, can he go to my house and tell my brothers? Maybe they will repent. And the response he got was, if they will not listen to Moses and all the prophets, do you think they will listen to me? This is the same kind of thinking, brothers and sisters, we need to understand for ourselves. Do not waste the time that we have on this earth. Every day is a time precious for us to make our commitment to God and to live that commitment to God. Don't wait for masses to be offered after we have died. Don't wait for something to be repaired after everything is lost. Entrust your soul to God while you are alive, and God will take care of your soul after you have died. I am ending this program with a beautiful prayer written by Charles de Foucault, Saint Charles de Foucault, and it's a prayer of abandonment. Those of you who are interested in the music of it, you can get it on the internet. Okay, today I just read the prayer, the words of the prayer. Father, I abandon myself into your hands. Do with me what you will. Whatever you may do, I thank you. I am ready for all. I accept all. Let only your will be done in me and in all your creatures. I wish no more than this, O Lord. Into your hands I commend my soul. I offer it to you with all the love of my heart. For I love you, Lord, and so need to give myself, to surrender myself into your hands without reserve and with boundless confidence, for you are my loving Father.